So today is the 16th June 2022, a Thursday. So today is our first Thursday physical class for the year. We are having it at relative Sister Monastery's house. You all have in front of you the yellow card. This one is our Bodhisattva vow format. For those who are taking the Bodhisattva vow, you can actually follow me after I will guide you to renew the Bodhisattva vow so that you understand what they are. Apart from your own daily practice or cultivation, which is part of your daily spiritual routine. So this one is to be done every morning if you can. And before you sleep, you also can have your meditation routine, chanting, sharing away, transforming. And morning when you do your puja, you can end your puja and meditation by recalling all this Bodhisattva. I will do it maybe afterwards, after the meditation, but we will do the invocation to the deities too. So for the time being, maybe we can have our usual half an hour awareness-based meditation. Just relax body and mind completely. Silent everything inside. Silent means don't think, don't try to know, don't try to do it. Then remember the four support or awareness-based meditation. First is to relax into every mind state that has a reason. Body and mind completely relaxed or at ease. Then after that, you maintain awareness. To maintain awareness is to develop the silent mind. Is allow the awareness to be there. Aware, whatever arises, aware, finish, aware, finish. Don't follow, don't let the samkhara or thought activity proliferate or follow. This is how you train to be aware. No need to do anything. And after a while, you have already developed the skill. You are stabilized. And the third support is continue to develop this awareness until it becomes very stable. It's technically during your waking moment. As long as you are awake, maintain awareness. Then, of course, the last support is trust. Trust your nature to do the meditation. But most people need not do the trust until much later. When you have already developed sufficient skill and understanding of how to silence your mind and stabilize the awareness nature, then only the fourth support comes, which is trust. Trust here means trust your nature to do the meditative movement. No more directing it using your thought process or your mind. No more interference from your memory, your conditioning, your views and your opinion. So this is basically what you need to recall and maybe commit to memory so that when you meditate, you know what you are doing for meditation. Here we are training ourselves to develop this awareness-based meditation, which is the awareness within. When we are aware, we don't think, we just aware. Whatever arises, aware. Thought arises, aware. Sensation, feeling, contact arise, aware. Even the consciousness when it arises, aware. Finish. Don't follow. Don't allow the mundane mind to continue to proliferate and create more thinking. At the moment you are thinking, you lost your awareness. You cannot maintain awareness. Your awareness nature is your true mind, your sight. So what I normally advise you always, if you want to develop the awareness-based meditation, you should silent, completely silent. Then relax, then maintain awareness for as long as you can. Just do that. Then the awareness nature will settle down. If you just allow it to do that, then this mundane mind, they will slowly slow down and settle down and let it return to its original state before the stirring, before the thinking, before the movement of the thought process arises. You must realize that, see that, then only you understand what that true mind awareness nature is. So if you allow that mundane mind to slow down and return to its original state before the stirring, before the activity of mind, the movement, that is your true mind. Then you will realize that true mind. That true mind is also your silent mind, your meditative mind, your awareness nature. So with this, I will let you meditate on. So now we will proceed with the taking of the Bodhisattva vow. We will follow this format which I had prepared for you all many years ago, about maybe 6 years ago. So this format, I have summarized for you all what you need to develop as cultivation and understanding. This will help you develop the Bodhisattva vow and walk the path of the Bodhisattva in the most easiest and most convenient manner. You will be able to overcome all of your whatever karmic obstruction, if there is any, whether there is any karmic obstruction from the triple jet or from all beings, knowingly or unknowingly, from the distant past until now. Yes, karmic obstruction is a very serious obstruction that can obstruct a cultivator from having the causes and condition to receive the Dhamma, to go this way. And when the karmic obstruction is there, it can be very severe. It can cause a lot of karmic suffering, misery. And this karmic obstruction will obstruct you from having the clarity to understand things and to see them. That's why it's very important that we develop as part of the Bodhisattva vow is understanding to break the karmic obstruction and have listed them there too. And apart from that, my nature also realized Bodhisattvas initially when they started the cultivation, it is not easy. Most of them take a long time is because there are certain things lacking and missing. So through my nature's experience, I have already included that, especially in the first section. The making of special aspiration to walk the Bodhisattva way. These are all the right views, right understanding that you need to have. So that life after life, whether you choose to come or you have to come, you will have this Dhamma understanding, the three right views, so that you won't get lost then it will prevent deviation. It will keep you firmly on the path. This is for people who tend to get lost during the non-sasana, when there is no sasana, the Buddha's teaching. During that period, a lot of cultivators wouldn't understand the true Dhamma, and because of that, they get lost. Then, after a long period, they have to wait till the sasana is back before they have the condition to arise again, to have the causes and condition to meet up with the triple jet, especially the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Arya Sangha. So all these are included. So now let us prepare ourselves, develop the faith, sadhana, virya, then mindfully, with strong faith, we shall plant the seed of Bodhi after that. We now make special aspiration to walk the Bodhisattva way. Let us pay respect to the Jantas. Making of the special aspiration to walk the Bodhisattva way. By the power of whatever blessings and wholesomeness that this nature of mind have cultivated from the distant past till now, may arise the causes and conditions for this nature of mind to have the following right views. Right Dhamma understanding, line after line, whenever it chooses to come, or it has to come in the form of a format mind. First one is the right view with regards to the law of karma and niyama. The second one is the right view with regards to the law of dependent origination, or the 12 chitta niyama. And the last one is the right view with regards to the form of the truth, Dhamma niyama. Then the second aspect is, apart from having those three right views, we must also understand the two aspects of the five aggregate of mind. To understand the two aspects of the five aggregate of form and mind clearly, we have the direct seeing to realize that they are all conditioned arising entities, causal phenomena, hence impermanent, leading to suffering, not me, not self, and empty. That is so-called human being, the five aggregates of form and mind. It's just a karmically conditioned vehicle and tools for us to come to this existential world, to develop the cultivation and experience all of the beauty and wonders of life. So use it with wisdom to arise the right thought, right speech, and right action, to be a blessing to all, and not to be deluded by it. To constantly recite the following understanding, the Dhamma, I read it again. To constantly recite with understanding the following Dhamma profoundly. Rupam anicca, Rupam anatta, Vedana anicca, Vedana anatta, Sankara anicca, Sankara anatta, Sanya anicca, Sanya anatta, Vinyanam anicca, Vinyanam anatta, Sabbe sankara anicca, Sabbe sankara dukkham, Sabbe dhamma anatta. And finally, the third condition is, having developed the above right view, this nature of mind vows always to keep the following three sets of pure precepts following the advice of all Samas of Buddha. I just read it again and without the word bound. Having developed the birthright, this nature of mind vows to always keep the following three sets of pure precepts, following the advice of all Samas of Buddha. The first set of pure precepts is to avoid all evil and to understand clearly what constitutes evil. The three evils of greed, hatred, and delusions are evil. The second set of pure precepts is to cultivate all virtues and blessings, leading to the perfection of them all. And finally, the third set of pure precepts is to cultivate all wisdom, to help liberate and take across all sentient beings. Okay, now we prepare ourselves to take the four basic vows. Taking of the four basic vows. Just as all previous Sugatas, the Buddha generated the Bodhi mind of enlightenment and accomplished all the stages of the Bodhisattva training. So too will this nature of mind, for the sake of all living beings, generate the Bodhi mind of enlightenment and accomplish all the stages of the Bodhisattva training, so that the seed of Bodhi can be strongly planted within my nature. This nature of mind further bound with utmost sincerity, faith, and perseverance to walk to perfection this Bodhisattva way. We are taking the following initial four basic vows of a Bodhisattva. This nature of mind bound to liberate the countless living beings from samsara and take them all across to the other shore. This nature of mind vows to endure and severe all suffering and dissension. This nature of mind vows to cultivate and penetrate all dharma, to realize the perfection of all wisdom. This nature of mind vows to perfect the 10 paramitas of perfection, to realize the unsurpassed Sama Sambuddhahood. Okay, now we turn to page 3. Page 3 is to make additional vow to break all karmic obstruction, to bring about the way, like I explained just now. If by action, speech, or thought, whether knowingly or unknowingly, we are ignorant, delusion, and heedlessness, then this nature of mind had offended or done anything wrong out to the Tripitaka, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. This nature of mind would like to sincerely ask for forgiveness. Whomsoever from the distant past till now, whether knowingly or unknowingly, that this nature of mind can cause any karmic negativity, misery, suffering, or misguidance. This nature of mind would like to sincerely ask for forgiveness for them all. May my sincere request for forgiveness be accepted by all, so that all these karmic obstructions can be amicably dissolved and watered down or lessened, thereby enabling this nature of mind to continue with its cultivation to realize the true Dhamma with ease. This nature of mind also vow to repent, and from now onwards vow never to repeat any of these karmic negativities, born of greed, hatred, and delusion, by following the advice of the Buddha to avoid all evil, do good, and purify our mind. We are striving on with influence to keep the five precepts and cultivate the Buddha Dhamma diligently, so that it will never violate this law of karma again whenever it arises. Then finally, by the power of whatever wholesomeness or merits that this nature of mind had cultivated since the distant past until now, may arise the causes and conditions for this nature of mind to have the ability to overcome all other karmic obstructions or obstacles amicably, so that this nature of mind will be able to gain back its life light of the life, to walk the path of Dhamma, to fulfill and realize all its Bodhisattva vows. And finally, page 4 is the additional vow. Additional miscellaneous vow to enhance the cultivation. This nature of my vow to be successful in fulfilling all my above vows soon as possible. This nature of my vow to cultivate strong affinity with all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and to request their nature's blessing, protection, and guidance always. This nature of my vow to strengthen my five spiritual faculties of Saddha, Vidya, Sati, Samadhi, and Panya, until they become balanced of ours, life after life, so that all the above vows can be successfully fulfilled in ease. This nature of my vow to cultivate extensively all virtue, blessings, and merits, to help support my cultivation, so that they may shine forth to aid this nature of mine when needed in time of trials, difficulties, and tribulations, while walking the Bodhisattva way. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Hopefully, with this acting as a fresh beginning and reminder, you will consistently go through this Bodhisattva vow until it becomes part of your nature, until you can finally recite the whole thing without even have to look at the yellow. And initially, maybe not so fast. Some may take a few weeks, some may take a few months. It depends. So you just with faith, determine strongly, and just do it. When you have the faith, the saddha, the vidya, the sincerity, then persevere, everything will come to be even unfold. And all this will become a part of you. You will know what this thing is. Yeah, the reason why I want you to cultivate this for at least 3 to 6 months, and after that, once it has stabilized, maybe you can reduce it to once a week or once a month. Then later on, depending on your understanding, it is going to transform you tremendously. The moment you start taking this Bodhisattva vow, a lot of things will happen to you and your cultivation, and then your virtue, your karmic obstruction, everything, they will start to like slowly either written out or become resolved, and most of them are dissolved to understanding. That's why everybody dissolved them. So all this understanding, they are very useful. Okay, let us each observe. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So hopefully this first physical class will give you the necessary faith and impetus to continue with the cultivation, because managerialize some cultivator, they need the faith, and to develop the faith, the physical class really helps. So what I have suggested earlier on this, the Thursday class is actually quite unique one. We will revert back to the old format because it is not a Zoom class. The Zoom class I have to maybe follow some facts on sutra where we need to go through. So normally Thursday class is a very sharing because we will normally have the usual puja, physical puja followed by chanting. Then after that, our awareness-based meditation. Then we will have the second session straight away, meditation reporting, followed by whatever question one might have. The question can be based on meditation or whatever Dhamma topic that you may want to understand. Then that one can give rise to very different conditions or different type of understanding of the Dhamma to arise, to flow. Then sometimes it can also be Dhamma in daily life, your daily experience, activity. It can be your career, your marriage life, your relationship with people, or your own health problem, or whatever other problems. It can be health problem, social problem, or going through old age, sickness, and death related to the first number two realities. These are the important Dhamma that one need to develop and understand. Because without going through the Four Noble Truths and its three terms, you cannot understand knowledge. Basically, as a Buddhist, for us to understand this teaching, we will have to understand the essence of the Buddha's teaching. The essence of the Buddha's teaching, I always mention, is the Four Noble Truths. I write it down. So this is the essence of the Buddha's teaching, namely the Four Noble Truths. These Four Noble Truths, they are very unique truths. They are not what normal people think. Normal people may think these are maybe special truth or unique truth or universal truth or what. No, the Buddha made it noble. Yes, during the time of the Buddha, the noble ones are the enlightened ones. They are these enlightened beings. They are very noble in all aspects of life. That's why they are called noble ones. So this Four Noble Truths, you understand that you can become noble ones or enlightened beings. So this enlightenment is not just ordinary experience of mind state. It is a very profound awakening or realization. Because the moment you understand this Four Noble Truths, of course the Buddha later on mentioned it, last is three turning. In the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, it stated, even he himself, as the Buddha to be at that time, he has to understand this Four Noble Truths and its three turning before he can proclaim the Dhamma to be the fully enlightened one. So this uniqueness of enlightenment is not just ordinary experience of meditative state or fantastic blissful state or whatever, but instead it leads to the realization of a very profound understanding of life, like the whole secret of life, mundane and supramundane, has been understood. And when you have understood life, you will know how to live life. Then this realization will lead to the wisdom which will prevent you from becoming deluded, thereby condition your suffering and misery. Which means as an enlightened, you will be free from all suffering. You will not suffer anymore. No matter what happened to you, to your physical body, to the world, to society, to your loved ones, your possession or whatever, it is not going to affect you anymore. Where you have realized the truth, the reality of life and existence has been understood, and the secret of life has been understood. And how the existential world comes to be. They are governed by nature's law. This universal nature's law, or what they call universal order, the Buddha called it the Pancha Niyama means the five universal order that governs all of life and existence within nature, within existence. And these five, the first two are scientific law, the physical law of nature, or they call it the Utu Niyama. The second one is called Bija Niyama, or the biological order of nature. So the first two, Utu Niyama and Bija Niyama, they are scientific law. That's why the scientists, after they have realized these two laws, they progress very far. But these are more of scientific law to improve our life, to let us understand technical things, scientific things, genetic things, biological things, so that it can enhance humanity's life. But instead, due to the evils and the delusion, some of them abuse that knowledge. That's why they go and build nuclear weapon, armament. They go and create drugs and others. So it leads to a lot of abuses. That's why nature's law, they are by itself beautiful, wonderful. But the user is very important. The person who applies those laws, if you apply it with a wrong motive, with selfishness, with delusion, and it will lead to negativity. That's how the law of karma comes about. That's how humanity has to go through all this karmic thing. And that's how pollution come to be. That's how society deteriorates, environment deteriorates, human behavior also deteriorates. But if you understand it and apply it in the right direction appropriately, then it transforms into something very wholesome, very beautiful and very meaningful. Then it like become a blessing for all of humanity. The world will be beautiful, environment, society, everything will be beautiful. There will be a lot of harmony, a lot of understanding. And all the negativity of war, environmental destruction, problematic weather and all those things, they will more or less subside and it does not arise anymore. So this one mainly scientific law. But what we are more interested in is the other three types of spiritual law, like what we took under the Bodhisattva vow. The first spiritual law, this is the third universal order, is Karma Niyama, the law of karma. And this law is very powerful. The Buddha said, all living beings, not only human, we are all born of our karma, heir to our karma, conditioned and supported by our karma. We are what we are because of our karma. So if you understand this law, you will understand a very important aspect of life, the law of karma. And when you understand that your life entirely depends on karma, because we are born of it, and we conditioned and supported by it, and we are what we are because of this law of karma. So what we must understand and do is we must take care of karma. Otherwise, our life is gone. If you become heedless and do not like develop the right view and the right understanding of this law and neglect karma, then it will lead to karmic negativity, which has its consequence. Then the Buddha said, you will reap what you sow. Do good, begets good. Do evil begets evil. As you plant the seed of evil, you harm people, cheat people, deceive people, abuse people, and kill people, or misappropriate whatever thing, then commit sexual misconduct, and develop a bad habit of having take intoxicant drugs every day. All this can lead to coming down from. Yeah, these are the precepts that you need to keep. If you don't keep them, they constitute major evil that it will lead to evil karmic consequence. So when you are heedless, you don't understand this law, then you lead a life that is not in accordance with this law of karma. Means you don't take care of karma. You do not believe this law and you do what you like. Then what happens is, like the Buddha said, you plant the seed of evil, you reap the fruit of evil. Means whatever you do unto others, you will become the victim. Others will do unto you. Like if you harm people, cheat people, deceive people, play people out, then like you cause suffering and misery to fellow living beings when you are in the position of authority, when you have the means to abuse people, take advantage of people. Then all this, in future, people will abuse you, take advantage of you, kill you, harm you, cheat you, deceive you. That's why whatever you do, this law is very powerful. You reap what you sow. Do good because good. Do evil because evil. And through this law, the first spiritual law, the advice of the Buddha comes along. Because the question is, how do we take care of karma? To take care of karma, we need to avoid all evil. We need to cultivate wholesomeness and goodness so that we have the ability to avoid all evil karma. So that we plant the seed of wholesomeness, reap all the virtuous good karma, which will enable us to have the good life. That's how you start. So the first two advice of the Buddha is to avoid all evil. To do it, we have to keep the precepts. The precepts constitute major evil if you violate them. Then after that, we cultivate noble eightfold path practice to cultivate wholesomeness, blessings, and whatever good virtue and karma, wholesomeness. So this one, we really need to cultivate right view, which is right view in regards to this law of karma, leading to right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood. Then the fall of right happen. Then of course to support it, you need mindfulness, you need samadhi. So this noble eightfold path factor will fall into place. And so when you cultivate noble eightfold path factor, the first six path factor will help you to cultivate wholesomeness, goodness. The last two, right mindfulness and samadhi, will lead to the meditation, purification of mind. That's why the third advice of the Buddha is to purify your mind. So if you follow the advice of the Buddha, you will live the life following the Dhamma way, which is the wisdom way. And your mind will fall into place. You will develop the good life. You will not have problems in life. So this is what the Buddhists should understand. And that one is just the first aspect of the first spiritual law of karma, karma niyama. The second one is even more powerful. The Buddha said the second spiritual law is law of mind, chitta niyama. Chitta is mind, the mundane mind, the consciousness part, and its content. So chitta niyama means the law of mind, how your mind functions as a human being. So when you understand this law, you understand yourself, you understand self-knowledge, leading to the realization of who you are, what you are. Then you will come to realize, like what the Buddha had realized, that these five areas of form and mind, two aspects, they are not you. They are dependent originating condition arising causal phenomena. They are just your karmically conditioned form and mind for you to come to this existential world, to experience karma, to live life, to cultivate, and to do what you need to do. That's it. So use it with wisdom. Do not be deluded by it. Do not attach and do not cling to this fiery form and mind. So that is the teaching. So when you understand that spiritual law, your mind becomes very different. Then you will understand clearly how you stir your mind, how you develop heedfulness, how you develop heedlessness. How when you develop heedlessness, you fall. How when you determine to have faith to cultivate and develop heedfulness, then you become different. You rise and become beautiful. Then you can see clearly how you are being conditioned into negativity, into emotion, moods, and all those things. Sometimes you develop fear, intense fear, anxiety, sorrow, lamentation, phobia, insecurity. All this, how did they arise? Then when they arise, are they really you? Why do you deludedly cling drums and believe that anger was you, fear was you, hatred was you, misery was you, suffering was you? So all this are in the teaching. When you understand the law of mind, you understand all this. Then you become beautiful. That's how you understand the secret of life, not only nature. You understand yourself, self-knowledge. And lastly is Dhamma Niyama, the spiritual idea, is all the other truth. Dhamma means truth. Dhamma is the teaching of the Buddha. What he teach are the truth. And the essence of his teaching are noble truths, the form of the truth. But there are other truths, which are the essential truth that the Buddha has taught us, like the five aggregates of form and mind, the five spiritual faculties, the five mental imprints, and the three evils of greed, hatred, and delusion. Then the Paticca Samuppada, the 12 others, the 7 factors of the noble eightfold path. All these are the essential truth. These are the nature's truth. Everything that can explain the way things are is the truth. That's why when you have the third right view, you understand the secret of life, when you understand all the nature's law, especially the spiritual law that governs life and existence. So this is why, as a Buddhist, we are very, very blessed. And we should have our great respect and gratitude towards the Buddha for giving us this teaching. And this is the only teaching in the world where it's given freely, no string attached. And this is the greatest gift to mankind, to humanity, to living beings. Without this teaching, suffering will be there. But once this teaching has been revealed and made known to the world, possibility of awakening enlightenment is there. That's why as Buddhists we are truly blessed. Blessed with such great Sammasambuddha as our teacher. Where he is not only enlightened, he is fully enlightened, perfect in wisdom and virtue. He has cultivated over eons and eons and eons. of lifetime to develop such understanding and arise as a Samasa Buddha to deliver this teaching and form the sasana. So we are still within the sasana. That's why this teaching is still very beautiful. Yeah. So hopefully, with this first physical class, after sharing this, it will remind you of the importance of cultivating this teaching, the Buddha Dharma. It's not because this teaching can make you wealthy or rich or famous. No, it is because this teaching is the most important teaching or understanding that you need to understand. Without this teaching, there is no life. You cannot understand. You can be very successful in life, very wealthy, theoretically. But do you understand life? Do you really can have the ability to be happy in life? Are you really complete as a human being? Whatever happens in life, can you really tell yourself you are peaceful, you are happy, you have understanding, and there is joy, and you can be a blessing to all? Without the Dhamma, you can't. You will worry about the reality of life and existence, especially the first noble truth, reality. Even to go through old age, sickness, and death is not easy. What about separation from your loved ones, from prized possession that you want to dearly, from your loved one, from all those things that you believe you own belongs to you, like your car, your property, your pet, your possession, your loved ones. Are they really yours? They're your own physical body. If you don't have the understanding, as you go through old age, sickness, and death, you will worry about it getting sick, getting old, and die one day. And this reality of birth, old age, sickness, and death is not easy to confront if you don't have the memory. Especially those people who have gone through life after the age of 60, you start to see a lot of these things. The true reality of getting old, aging, decaying, confronting sickness and disease, then confronting death. These are not easy unless you have them. So hopefully with this sharing, you can appreciate what this teaching is all about. Then you can make affirmation and determination to go all out to realize this teaching. After realizing this teaching, then you can make a very, I should say, clear-cut decision to go this Bodhisattva way. Because through cultivating the Bodhisattva way, you intensify your understanding of life, existence, cultivation. You can go through the whole of existence with this Dhamma understanding behind to actually protect you and allow you to have the causes and conditions to continuously come as a Bodhisattva to fulfill your perfection to become Samasa Buddha. And this is something not every day can have the condition or opportunity to have. You must have the Karmic, the affinity with triple gem, especially with Sama Sambuddha. Otherwise, you may end up as sainthood, realize the sainthood way, and also free from all suffering. No need to come back, no need if that is your choice. Then well and good, we rejoice too. But if you want to understand more, you want to really go through all this, then the Bodhisattva way is very, very profound, rewarding. It's not only rewarding, it's also very wonderful. That's why it's mentioned in the Heart Sutta. When you have penetrated or realized true emptiness, then life becomes wonderful, existence becomes wonderful. 真空妙义 Realizing true emptiness is wonderful existence. Then life, take a turn, becomes so meaningful, so beautiful, so wonderful. Then everything you come across in life is really, really amazingly wonderful. In the sense that whatever you come to experience as you walk this path, the Bodhisattva way, you will come to learn a lot of things. There is a lot of variation to understand. The cultivation of the understanding, wisdom part, is like unending. Because when we come as Bodhisattva, we go through the great aeons. And over these great aeons, you have very, very, very type of civilization appearing, coming and go, coming and go. Then you also have a lot of opportunity to come into contact with the various type of living. Not only human being. Human being itself is already enough. There are so many variations of that. I would say everyone is different. Karmically, we are also different. Our condition, our nature, our parts, they are also different. And how you all come together because of affinity to understand the interdependent, interpenetration, dependent originality. This law is very powerful. So these are the important aspect of the teaching that my nature wants to share with you all today. Still earlier, 9:48, as rejoice. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, now I open up. You all can report your meditation or ask whatever question you may have.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Still,
Yeah.
good evening, all yeah, it's been quite some time we
Yeah.
have with each other.
Yeah, almost 2+ years.
Well, in these 2 years, usually stay at home.
Yeah.
And my husband very scared of going out to
Oh,
eat.
yeah.
So I'm very busy,
Cooking, yeah. Doing your duty as a
Yes.
mother, as a wife, as a spouse. Very good, Sadhu.
Then, but I really still keep in touch with the Dharma.
Yeah.
Constantly, listen to Dharma talk and all.
Sadhu.
By a recording.
Yeah,
And
Sadhu.
then also do my duty,
Yeah.
reading also Dharma.
Very good.
Then
Sadhu.
I find that my life turning better and better.
Oh, Sadhu, that is the most important.
Yes, because even though sometimes when you pick up anything that is feel unhappy, then you realize that we are not having the right view.
Yeah.
Right,
you lack the right view and the right understanding.
Then suddenly realize that, then we just change our attitude.
Yeah.
Understand, what we've learned from the
Apply that teaching.
Yes. Then immediately the mind calms down.
Yeah.
Really can feel there's peacefulness. Peacefulness there.
Yeah. Once the understanding sets in, you can accept whatever happens. That is the right view. That allow you to develop the ability to accept the reality, the moment. Because like I always say, each and every one of us, we hold the key to our own life destiny. To be happy or to be unhappy is our choice. True or not? So don't tell me you don't love yourself and you don't know how to choose to be happy. You choose to be miserable. No. In this world, there will be nobody who is so foolish and so deluded. But then the question is, how come there are so many people suffering and going through life with such misery and unhappiness? Why? It's because they don't know this teaching. And it's because they don't know this teaching. They don't know that they have a choice. They don't know that they hold the key to their own life destiny. So to be happy or to be unhappy is entirely our choice. Why can't we choose to be happy? We choose to be happy, we will be happy, true or not, provided we know this teaching. This teaching is very simple. The law of karma already explained everything. Dhammapada verse 1 and 2 also explain everything. So like I said, the Buddha explained life very clearly. That's why the first two twin verse of the Dhammapada, he already said, our mind is the forerunner of all things. Mind is she. When mind arises, all things arise. So if you choose to take care of mind, then you will be heedful to arise the wholesome thought, which are free of the evil result of greed, hatred, and delusion. If you do that, happiness will follow you, like your shadow that never leaves you. That is Dhammapada verse 2. But Dhammapada verse 1 is to warn those people who don't know this teaching, who are foolish, who are deluded. He said the same thing. He said our mind is very important. Mind is the forerunner of all things. Mind is chief. When mind arises, all things arise. So if you act, speak, and think with a heedless mind that has the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion, then suffering will follow you, like the wheel that follows the hoof of the bullock cart. So this is very clear. Dhammapada verse 1 explain how suffering comes to be. When you are heedless, when you do not train your mind to be heedful, you allow your mind to simply do things. When you act, speak, and think with a heedless mind, that has the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. Greed here means you have selfishness, you have possessiveness, you have greediness. So when you do that, you will give rise to a lot of karmic negativity. Because greed comes from sacrality, self-delusion, the personality that grabs onto the ego, believing that you exist. Then when you believe you exist, the egoic mind will become selfish, greedy, possessive. That's why you will try to own things, possess things, cling on to things, hold on to things. Then after that, because you think you exist, when you are unhappy, when things don't go your way, you become violent, you become angry, you develop envy and jealousy. This is the hatred aspect of the ego. Then the third one is delusion, ignorance. when you don't understand what is going on, and you cannot understand life, you become miserable, you suffer, you develop fear, anxiety, sorrow, and lamentation. These are all born of the evil root of delusion. That's why when you act, speak, and think with a heedless mind that has the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion, you become evil. That's how you're coming downfall. Then this will condition suffering in you. So if you have this understanding, this teaching, then it's very easy to choose, isn't it? I choose to be happy. Happiness will follow you like a shadow that never leaves. How wonderful. So how to do that? We must develop the training to be heedful, to take care of mind, to be mindful of what constitutes evil, so that they do not arise in our mind state. So that we will constantly act, speak, and think with a wholesome mind that is free of the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. Like Krishnamurti always says, the absence of evil is good. The Buddha also says the same thing. If you can avoid all evil, you are naturally good. True or not? He didn't say avoid evil. Avoid evil only may not be good. When you can avoid all evil, when you are incapable of evil, that is automatically good. That's why all these great beings or teachers, they teach the same thing. The absence of evil is good. Always remember that. Don't be deceived by your thought. Because a lot of people, they believe they are doing good. But good according to who? According to them. And that is your personal views or opinion of what is good. Good and bad is not an opinion, not good according to you or me. Good is an ultimate reality. When you develop something that is free of negativity, then automatically is good. It must be in accordance with the nature's law of karma, not according to your views, opinion, and belief system. That one has no meaning. So you need to cultivate. When the evils are not there, the absence of evil is good. That's why avoiding all evil, do good. That is the teaching. So if you can stick on to that understanding and cultivate accordingly, your life will be beautiful. So what you have come to understand is very good. Started to you.
Yes. So anytime I do checking my mind.
Yeah.
Checking my
Correct.
make sure my day my mind is wholesome.
Yeah. Like I always advise, whenever you are not peaceful, not happy, the evils are there, the wrong view are there. You are not holding on to right view, right understand. Otherwise, you will always be happy, peaceful. When you are mindful and aware, the wisdom will arise. When you are heedless and deluded, karmic negativity will follow. That's why the Dhamma, if you understand, is very simple, very clear, very straightforward. And no need to like, force yourself through all those things. If you don't have basic understanding of the essential Dhamma, you can sit for umpteen years doing all the thought-based meditation. It's not going to change you. Your thoughts are still very active, very heedless. You lack mindfulness. You lack awareness. You lack the ability to observe, to insight in the phenomenon, to awaken to the universal current. That's why people who don't understand the cultivation, they cannot progress. They entangle themselves with all the so-called thought-based meditation, the method, the technique, or what they call thought-based method, technique, and conditions. Whenever your mind is empty, you are lost in thought. Man can only do one thing at a time. Either you are completely silent and just aware of one, aware of everything that is happening within and without. That is meditation. With silent, aware. Then only you can see and understand what is going on. Otherwise, if you are lost in thought, means what? You are thinking, preoccupied with your thought process. Then how can you be aware? How can you be mindful of what is going on? When your thought is actively telling you a story, chattering, dialogue inside, complaining, worrying, planning, scheming, daydreaming. That is a heedless mind. That is not a heedful mind. Always remember that. And the Buddha said under Dhammapada verse 21, the heedless are as if they, spiritually, you don't stand a chance. And heedfulness is the path to the deathless, the heedful Buddha. So the first thing you must do in meditation or cultivation is to develop mindfulness, leading to heedfulness. That's why awareness-based meditation, mindfulness-based meditation. Not to go and think, not to go and create concept, idea, thought process. And the Buddha already mentioned very clearly under the salutation to the Dhamma. This Dhamma that the Buddha has taught us, which is the teaching, they have certain characteristics which are very important. You must know them. That's why under our chanting just now, the salutation to the Dhamma, the Buddha says, Swakato Bhagavata Dhamma. This Dhamma is well expounded by the Buddha. Then the Buddha go on to explain what is this Dhamma. He said, Swakato Bhagavata Dhamma. Then he said, this Dhamma is Sanditiko, Akariko, Ehipasiko, Opanayiko, Pacetang, Veditapo, Vinohiti. You must understand this. What is Sanditiko? Sanditiko means this Dhamma, this truth can be realized in the here and the now. No need to wait till then. If people has a religion and promise you liberation after that, forget about it. Because the Buddha says this Dhamma can be realized before you die. Can be realized in the here and the now, before this form and mind separate. So that is Sanditiko. Then this Dhamma is Akaliko. Akaliko means what? Timeless. Beyond thought, beyond time. When we create thinking, it's psychological time. When we do not think, that is the timeless. No psychological. That's why it's akaliko. Beyond thought, beyond time. So, sanditiko, akaliko, then this Dhamma is ehipasiko. He said you can come and investigate into his teaching. When you investigate into his teaching, he will stand up to investigation. Why? Because he is the truth, the noble truth. The truth explains the way things are. Always correct, cannot go wrong. That's why this teaching stand up to investigation. Then after that, Sanditiko, Akaliko, Ehipasiko, is it Opanayiko? This teaching dig inward into our nature. If you go and cultivate and go and play with energy, feel thought-based thing and see all the vision. Does it lead inward into your nature? It doesn't. It creates all the what they call maybe fantastic meditative state, the energy field, the peace, the tranquility, but it doesn't lead inward. That's why open-eyed goal is very important. Leading inward. Then this teaching, always remember, can only be realized by the wise, each for themselves. That's why Pache Tang Vedi Tapo. If you cultivate and check against this Dhamma, characteristic of this Dhamma, then you will know whether you are on the right path or the wrong path, whether you have been cultivating the right thing or the wrong thing. So all these are very, very important and very, very important for one to check against the cultivation to see whether you have been cultivating correctly or not. Because when you develop all the thought-based meditation, how can you realize something that is beyond thought? Mechanical. You can't. Because the instrument you use is thought. And this has been taught everywhere. Almost everybody initially. You go anyway. They teach you meditation, Dhamma cultivation. They always start with a thought. They give you a method and a technique. How did it come about? Through your thought. The thought learn the method and the technique. They interpret it. There's a series of instructions to do all these things. Then who is doing? The thought is actively doing. The thought inside there is like the meditator actively meditating. When you meditate, what you do? They tell you to note this, note that, focus, concentrate. Who is doing all this? The thought. And when thought is active, how can you be mindful? How can you be aware? How can you realize your true, your inner self-awareness nature? You can't. That's why all this is doomed to fail. Thought-based meditation can never lead you to the true Dhamma, which is akalical and sanditical. So all this understanding, you really study, reflect into it, contemplate into it, it becomes very clear. Then you don't have to waste your time. You save a lot of what they call yellow lupa. And you don't need to go Holland so often. Every day you can be in your own mental cultivation ground. Otherwise, you become gullible.
Thank you so much for
No problem.
I feel very blessed.
Yeah.
I'm able to learn the Dharma.
Yeah.
Because whatever in life, whatever thing I come across any difficulties, automatically I'm learning what I'm learning.
Correct.
Lead me to
your inquiry helped you. But what I did just now was to explain all this to you so that it becomes clearer. So that any ordinary human being who listen to this sharing will come to understand, yeah, it's so logical, so easy to understand. What am I doing? What am I waiting for? Why am I still heedless? Why am I still allowing my life to become so miserable? So all this can lead to profound understanding. Then your life, you decide how you want to live. Then you will determine from now onward, never turn back, never to go back to the old. That's why in the year 1971, the moment I saw the Four Noble Truth, I never searched for any other truth. I knew that is the one. I just follow it. I just want to realize that awaken. And I know I'm home. That's why I go all out to cultivate. And other things is not important. even after that, when I finish my Form 5, Form 6, I go to uni. I know the education is useful, important, but secondary compared to this Dhamma understanding. That's why I was actually cultivating. I went to the temple. I listened to the talk. I attended the whatever activity. Then the weekly session, I go and listen the Sunday class, the Friday, last night Brickfield, Friday night I got the talk, and Sunday also got the talk. And they had what they call Sunday school, Sunday activity. And in between, we invite people. And sometimes they organize certain Buddhist spiritual trip, and they call it the weekend 8% retreat, 3 day, 2 night. Then sometimes school holiday. So these are the activity that the temple do conduct. But I realize most of them is all thought-based. But luckily my past was very different. That's why I went in, I cannot be influenced. I just do what my nature understands. And I just know how to develop the anapanasati and the meditation on my own. And later on everything fall into place. Then I connect and recall the past. That's why after that I teach differently. You will come to realize what I teach, not even written anywhere. Although you may think that the essential Dhamma is all connected, because I can connect them all up and explain to you through my own realization and understanding. But the other people, what they share is theoretical, mainly theoretical, knowledge based. And they are like isolated pocket of Dhamma here, not connected at all. Like everything is a separate teaching. Actually, the five mental human and the spiritual faculties are connected. The right view are connected to the essential Dhamma. Everything is linked. But the understanding is no longer there. Actually, the paticca samuppada without mindfulness, you cannot understand. See how it happened. It is spontaneous, moment to moment. Not what is explained in most of the book over the 3 period of time. It's not like that. So all these are beautiful. So thank you so much for this sharing Sunday. So at least we know, despite the 2+ year of pandemic SOP requirement and your husband's condition, they require you to cook and stay at home. But you have been doing well, Sunday, because of your understanding. That he also has a good life. Everyone. So my nature rejoices seeing you and your daughter. Having the faith and what they call the virya, saddha and the virya to really produce it. And so for now, you don't have to worry about Demi like last time. You scared she renounce, become nun, and all these things. So no more. Now she is even more beautiful. She learned the true Dhamma as a lay person and now married. Yet and understand life and develop the harmony, which is very beautiful. Sadhu rejoice.
Thank you. I a few weeks ago I followed a friend to a temple in Sungai Perak, somewhere about Sepang. Also my first visit there. It is Myanmar traditions. So they are doing the, we call it, is it installation of the rupang under open shape?
Consecration.
Sorry. So my friend told me they have the exhibitions there, so we went over and see, and I also never correlate that actually they are displaying all those things that jewels and the rupa and the Bodhi leaf that they're going to put, because we partake in Anandagiri before, just that very far we cannot see. So I take a look and never correlate all these things. So then later on, they asked us to stand in the queue, like a red carpet, right side. So I stand very near to where this thing is going to possess to the Rupang. So when they walk up from the exhibition place, I only hear gong, something like gong. So when the gong's the sound approaching me, I just suddenly know that I can see like that a little bit. I can feel like the thing. So I started, actually the tears just came down, and then they process. Then some of them, because it's by tray, so they touch lah. I also gong touch also. Then after maybe that day, not really a lot of people, maybe 200-300 lah. They have 2 acres of land. So I was having a chance to go to the front where it's like oven and layer, they lay up, they put in the tray, So I was very near. I thought not the front row, like behind and see through. Then I see the sort of the chief monk there, he put in the tray like baking cake, layer and layer. So suddenly I just know that I feel like and I see some people, those queue at the very far behind, they put in the crystal and all those things. Last minute only they put into the tray. So I just have the thought that I also want to put in, and I like bracelet. So I was thinking, then I surprised myself whether I can, because they have a counter selling all the crystals. So I was thinking whether I can manage to go and buy and put in, because they also putting in already. So I suppressed my idea for I think maybe 1 minute plus. Forget it lah, late already. Then somehow or rather, as the tray go in, so many tray layer tray, I finally say, okay, I go and get. And I told myself, I'll tell the counter people I take first without paying. So I take and I go and choose a bracelet, then take and come back to this. And the monk is putting the last tray. So I was on the second layer, not really so near to him. So I bring down myself and my hand just put in the bracelet. He also didn't see me, he just see a hand coming up. Just his take and he put in. Then they close the door, they seal. And during this process of somewhere along, when they want to close everything, seal, it was drizzling. It drizzled, and then they come up with the umbrella, yellow umbrella, like the king that time, to cover the man who really put cement, and put the cement in the drizzle. So they close up. And when I was very near to the front, I cried. Only thing not the loud, but my friends can see I was crying. And that kind of feeling, I don't know why. Then that's it, and they seal, and then they put the tower crane, not tower crane, the crane, they bring the rupang there, everything, makan, go home. And then somehow that day when I was home, I got a very mild feeling. I think it's not ego, but I know I have done something, and it's not a rejoicing deep inside, but I just know that somehow I did the last sempat, I managed to put it, and I feel, I don't know, after putting in, there's one time I go to the back lane there, I was also crying there, and somehow I also I feel like my cry also related to, this time I feel it's related to up there, I feel, because when I cry, I also asking myself that cry, it's not a joyful cry, it's not a joyful cry, I know. It's a little bit sad, but I feel that when gong the sound, and I come home, I feel like only I recall, it is maybe related to the up there, those things. So I went home and I feel like, actually I was half-heartedly, I already promised
many days ago, and before I go also that day I was half-heartedly check myself and so I went home. I find luckily I went and even though it's different from Ananakiri where you also could take a lot of things. So that's it, my sharing. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you. Maybe I just add a bit. You see, what happened is very likely because he recovered from the Karmic obstruction state. So at least this one he can go through without much trouble. But she can still feel that sad feeling, the eerie feeling and all those things, the tears and all those things. Otherwise, you would have burst out like that and read through there and all those things. But he knew it's something where these people out there still can remember. But it's okay because she already asked for forgiveness, she cleared the thing and all those things. But what I need you all to understand is everyone is different when you come to cultivation. For her case, it's okay because she's going through those phases. She just cleared the coming thing and she has this interest to attend and all those things. And like she said, she is glad that finally the track has helped to be there and be attended. But most important is you must understand why you go. And when you are there, if you have the cultivation, you will become different. You will be mindful, you will be aware, and you will not be too eager to do merits like put the thing in But there are people at different stages of cultivation. They do that, but they feel that this is meritorious, and this is offering and all this thing. You can do it at the initial stages, and then because I still remember the early days when I started my cultivation. I also do dana, and I also like trying to practice whatever there is condition for me to do. Then later on, when there is condition for me to have my own house dana, then there's a condition for me to invite those monks and teachers. So I remember there were at least 6 or 7 occasions when they come to my house dana. The biggest one is of course Ajahn Trump. He came before his disciple. And that time the affinity was there, very close to him because he taught me a lot and I understand a lot of his sharing and teaching. Then he also came to me, I'm deep. And I visited him many occasions at Tina, even in Thailand, Kanchanaburi Temple, Sunyantaro. I went there 2 or 3 times, at least 3 times. And the Badmanun Velvet Farm, I also went. I think also 2 or 3 times. Then there were other places too. And then of course there were other monks and teachers. So during that time I also went on. I also do all this. But later on, after I had that, I realized the nature understands and it just rejoices and doesn't do anything until I think some of the benefactor they know. Then there was one occasion, I think I told you before. Shop Moon was having a house down there, he invited a lot of monks and monks. He personally invited me, gave me an important notice and all that stuff. So I promised her I will go, so that day I go. And when I remember, then when I was there, I remember I entered the house. She was full of joy. That there was some Karmic who attended my party. Oh, this is birthday. So everybody was excited. They all rush out, and everybody wants to bring a tray of offering for me to offer to the monk. Is it very wholesome? They can pour some guy. He said, no, man, it's okay, never mind. You all go ahead, please. Don't because of me. Then Sokuna, the host, she knew. You know what she did? She go and take a plate. She go and choose the 3 or 4 things that she made herself. And he came and pushed it. That you don't mind. And help me out for us. Oh, I said, Sadhu. He told me I make myself. Oh, then I said, Sadhu. Then I took the thing and I still offer. But there is condition. Oh, and my mission rejoice. So you have to understand when you go through cultivation, there are stages of cultivation where your understanding initially is still not developed or hasn't come back. You will still do, you will still rejoice and develop all those awesomeness. But as you develop the understanding, then you will come to a point where you understand this, you listen to this. This is what you have to understand. When you come to an understanding that your Dharma already there, you have the understanding. What is more important is every action you do, every moment of arising of process, they are pure thought without the purpose. Then when you meditate, you can silence without any thought. The true mind, you can realize the true mind, the silent mind. And this one is what they call the wholesomeness and the merits are limitless. And why you still want to run after all these tinted merit? That's what you cannot do already. You only do when there is condition to do. That's why I only rejoice. You ask me to offer. No, I don't. Even another maybe I rejoice. And most of the time I let the even offering or whatever. Only 1 year they asked me to represent them. And that time was, I think, Ajahn Sumedho was there. Ajahn 40 women from one Anandacharya. That was a big gathering. A lot of things happened here. Then Katina. Even I think Ajahn was there. A lot of things happened. Then there was one Western monk. I forgot his name. After the thing, we are all about to go home. And I walking out alone. Then he came in also alone. He saw me, he smiled and he started to me. And he said, oh, brother, you did very well just now. I said, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. I said, the Sangha was beautiful. Because he knew that I did not only we understand the energy was shock. So all this thing you will come to understand. Then you will know that last time came to make offering and you cannot do it unless there is convenient and you do. Otherwise you will not do it. But don't after listen to this try to act like please don't. When you are not ready, just do what you have to do and so on. But what I want you to understand is ask yourself, what are you doing in the name of understanding the cultivation? Why do you still want to go and buy and offer? And then you can trace back very likely is the merits. Means you still at the stage where you still want to do this merit. It's nothing to do with right or wrong. It's like there is still this subtle intent to do it. I would call it a dream. That subtle intent, a desire to do good, to develop awesomeness. So check yourself why you do. The best is when there is condition to do only do, then you will be gullible. Otherwise you will end up becoming gullible and having conflict. then you get very unhappy. When you want to offer, somebody cut you off, or somebody take away your tree, then or sometimes they are Katina, you pay for the money and they say you have a tray that day you're supposed to offer one, you dress very nicely, wait, and then suddenly too many people, they give all the tray away. By the time you reach that, and no more will give your tray offered. You become miserable. Then it defeats the purpose. Understand? What is important is the intent to offer. You already made the intent, the intention of offering. And see who offer not important. You just rejoice so that there is no negativity somehow. And let things be. Sometimes there is strange, right? It's not supposed to be you, but when you are there, they will call you. Hey, you got nothing. No. The master tree. That's what happened in one Panalacha, one Papong. One Papong, you ask my wife. They all, the Thai people, they knew that occasion. They put on the white cloth, everything. Tell me you were there. You were not there. They want to offer. Then they say Malaysian people, wow, one good offer, we want nothing. And the Thai lady so good, no. They give to them the white cloth. Offer, go, offer. A lot of them will offer. That's why when you have parami, conditions just arise. You don't have to crave what you desire. May not understand. So this is the more deeper understanding of cultivation as you go through. Okay, so let us rejoice.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, that's nice. And the divine. Let us end the whole thing. And we will do the closing puja. Before I do the closing puja, I must not forget to thank Brother Bill and Sister Pamasuri for hosting this special first physical Thursday class. Let us rejoice in the awesome.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Also thank them for the good and sumptuous dinner, like a real gathering.